If you're a model or a brand new agency looking to start OnlyFans in 2026, well, this is the actual no bullshit guide and teaching you exactly what to do step by step and where to actually put your time in so that you're not wasting it elsewhere. Now, this is mainly made for models that are either starting fresh or agencies who just want, the basic information of where to actually focus their time and effort on, because I know this business model seems to be, not complicated, but if you're putting your time into the wrong places, you'll just not get any results, right? So that is what this video is for. But I just wanted to make this so I stop getting DMs from models saying, how do I do this? And now I actually have something to provide for them so that they can actually start their OnlyFans journey and start generating money. Now, this is the same for agencies because I don't sell a course. And, I think most courses out there are most of the time a scam unless you're spending tens of thousands of dollars on a very good one where, there isn't many in the space at all that are good. I'm just going to be honest. Now, I'm not going to pretend I'm some guru. Like I said, I have an actual agency called Covalent Consulting. We do anywhere from, $17,000 all the way down to $25,000 per day, which is very good. And we have scaled creators to multiple six figures time and time again. Now, I'm simply also making this because I think there's so much recycled garbage out there. I think most of the courses now are literally information from 2023, where you guys are literally getting scammed, and I just want to put an end to that. You might be thinking, is it too late for me to start OnlyFans in 2026? Now, I don't believe that this is the case because there is there's new interest in the market and it is adapting. So if you can enter this market with an adapted brand, so you're not just looking like this normal OnlyFans model, you have a very high chance of setting yourself up for success in the future. Now, don't get me wrong, the business model is harder than ever. But if you utilize this information correctly, you are guaranteed to have success. Now, part one of this is obviously at the very beginning, and this is account setup. Now, here's where most models go completely wrong. It's very easy to mess this up and very easy to set yourself up for failure just with the first steps. Now, you cannot be posting nude content on your wall anymore. That is not what you should be doing. You can't start OnlyFans and to get people to sub, you have got everything out on the wall. That is the first mistake I think people do. Now, what is a wall post, you may ask? If you're very, very fresh, this is where you post something so when someone subscribes to your profile, they can flick through your post, right? And if you are posting lucrative content on this where you are literally fully nude or even with, your upper half out, you're doing it wrong. You should be posting similar stuff to Instagram, maybe a bit more lucrative than you post on Instagram, and that should be the maximum there. Now, on your page, do not look like this, horny model on there where you just like every other OF model. Obviously, depending on the niche, this is for the basic kind of girl next door vibe. You want to just be posting flirty stuff where you're trying to, engage the fan, but in a not super sexual way. And you don't want to be posting crazy captions like, oh my god, someone, fucked me on the weekend, right? That is just not what you want to be doing. You don't want to be looking too over-sexual on there. You want to make it look as organic as possible so that people can trust you and people think that you're a normal female and not just some porn star on the internet, because that is the difference and the shift in the market now. People are preferring these real models who don't look like they do OnlyFans. That is the kind of whole thing now. They want it to look more organic and more realistic as a real life, relationship. So what is actually keeping, the difference from models that fail are models that don't. The models that are winning right now is they are selling the experience and not the content. I'm going to say this time and time and time and time again, because this is what I truly believe the shift in the market is doing right now. They're using more personality, they're selling less explicit content to kind of upsell fans. You don't want to be giving fans away your best content straight away. Gatekeeping premium content for your best spenders is going to be the key to your success, because if you're not just giving away everything straight away, then you're going to be setting yourself up for success. Now, yes, it is a little bit harder, and I want you to go and watch one of my YouTube videos where I talk about chatting here. Hopefully that pops up. And all of this is positioning yourself as a premium creator and not someone who just gives everything away on the internet. So you want to keep it organic and you want to keep this dynamic where fans are chasing to get your better content and having to spend to get your better content, because that is a real life organic situation. If a very attractive model and a guy are talking together, most of the time, the guy is going to be kind of in a way chasing this model or proving himself to them, because that is just the dynamic of how real world situations work, right? Now, I do just want to say say this is a very serious topic. If you're going into this and thinking you're going to make $100,000 in your first month, then that is just not the case anymore. It's not that easy, and you may get lucky and that may happen, but I wouldn't bet on it, and I would bet on a long-term plan, which is what I'm setting you guys up to do. I don't want you to be set up for failure, because that is the fastest way to fail. 99% of creators on OnlyFans make less than $1,000 per month. And obviously you don't want to be in that 99%. You want to be in the 1%, which means you can't do what the 99% are doing, right? Now, I know that's hard for people to think. You've got to put 30 days into this, very lucrative kind of business model and see minimal results as well, and then quit. That's what most people do, but I promise you that is not what you want to do. The market has matured. This is a real business now. It's not just some side hustle. You can't show up and expect instant money. It takes more work, curation, figuring out what works for your specific brand and scaling that into, those tens, $20,000, $30,000, $100,000 months. That's how you scale. You can't just jump straight to that point anymore most of the time. So I want to break down of each part: difficulty, cost, and potential. Cost is basically zero. You just need some natural lighting. You just need some, some nice outfits, and you're pretty much good to go. The difficulty is social perception. The industry is still looked down upon, unfortunately, even though it is a legit business model. If you can choose to ignore the noise and truly commit yourself to this and not actually half commit for more than 1 month, you can definitely make this work. Now, the potential is honestly unlimited. It has an unlimited ceiling, but if you treat it like a business. Step 2, social media. I think for most people, Instagram is going to be where you want to be. This is the #1 traffic source for 99% of agencies, right? And 99% of agencies that actually do good. What I would recommend, if you have an account that you have been using for a while, it may have some family on it, it's fine, just block them, right? But you've got that aged account where you've been interacting on it for a long time, so it looks like a real account. I would recommend using that, because that's going to give you the best traction and the best start. If you're a female, most of the time you're going to have men in your DMs anyway, so you might as well utilize them as your first few people that spend on OnlyFans, so that you can kind of learn and get the grips of chatting after you've watched my YouTube video. Same goes for, agencies. As agencies, I would recommend for you guys to be doing the chatting yourself for the first part, and models. Learn the business first before you outsource. That is my key take here for you guys. If you don't want to do this and you don't want your family to see this, or for example, if you're an agency and your model may not have Instagram, I would recommend, starting up for the best possible way, getting a phone, getting a US SIM, starting the phone fresh with the US setup and the US SIM, and that is going to be your best chance to hit, this high ticket first world market with the US spenders. They are the best spenders on OnlyFans, and they're the kind of people that you want coming to your page. Now, of course, if you're from different countries, then that applies there to get a French SIM card or whatever, or a French setup. Next point, I think the next social media that's actually got so much traction, and I've seen a lot of quite niche models recently hitting me up. I'm like, hey, they're wanting to join, and I'm like, okay, your Instagram's pretty small, how much are you doing? And they're like $10,000. I'm like, how's that possible? And they're saying Reddit is where they're actually getting the thing from. And luckily for you guys, I literally have a full Reddit guide for free, exactly what we do at Covalent, on my YouTube. So if you want to watch that and you want to low-key start OnlyFans without too many people knowing, that is what I'd recommend, and that is what I see a lot of new models doing now. Now, I think the mistake that the models that do that do is that they don't focus on Instagram enough though. Because yes, Instagram is good for the first few $1,000s, right? But Instagram is where you're going to be really scaling. Instagram is where you're going to be hitting that $10,000, that $20,000, that $100,000 months. So you want to still have that growing in the background, although that takes a little bit more effort and a lot more work. Now, next is TikTok. Honestly, this one isn't really, you don't really have to focus this too much, because it doesn't really convert that well. Unless you want to try go on it, it's fine. But most of the time you will get banned pretty quickly if you're posting that more lucrative content. And it is also harder to convert because you can't really post links in bios there. But it doesn't hurt to just reuse your Instagram videos onto, TikTok, for example, and just repost the same stuff. Now, Twitter, X, that is kind of a harder one. I would say it's harder to get traction on. unless you really understand it. So if you want to study the platform, I'd recommend on all these platforms, before you start, you study and figure out what route you want to go down, figure out what kind of part of X do you want to be on. Do you want to be on the golf side? Do you want to be on the gym side, etc.? Same on Instagram, same on TikTok, same on Reddit. So next is, how many times should you actually be posting per day? Now, Instagram, 2 to 3 times minimum. You should be posting more, 100%. If you're a model, throwing your lottery tickets out is going to be your best case scenario. You should be always posting Instagram on the stories, etc., doing carousel posts, making it look like you're an actual real model. Next one, obviously TikTok, same again, just post whatever you're posting on Instagram and just repost it on there. Twitter, you should be doing 1 to 5 posts per day minimum, and obviously be scaling that with comments and all those kind of things. Reddit, 15 to 20 posts per day is what you really should be doing to see actual results, and that is all described in my YouTube video right here. I know that might seem daunting with the amount of times you should be posting per day, but social media, it just isn't easy anymore. You have to put in massive effort for return. You can't just put little effort for a massive return anymore. That's just not how it works. Now, what you need is hard work plus social media intelligence. That means finding out what works for your specific account, your specific look, your algorithm. We call it winning content here at Covalent. The content that particularly the audience engages the best and converts for you, because even if a video now gets views, sometimes it might not even convert to that many subs. So you need to combine what converts and what gets views at the same time. Now, part 3 is chatting and fan retention. This is obviously where the real money is. You can have the best marketing in the world, but without real good chatting, you are not going to make any money at all. Now, if you're new to OnlyFans, you probably think it's all marketing, but that just isn't the case. Marketing is obviously important because you need subs to get that money from, but here is equally as important, in my opinion, is to have a good sales team after you scale. Now, obviously, before your first $1,000, you need to do in the chatting yourself. Your first $1,000 in 30 days, may I say. You need to learn yourself so that you can choose the correct team for yourself as well. I think that is key. Now, let's say you've made your first $1,000 in 30 days. You're an agency and you're struggling to hire, or you're a model and you're struggling to hire. Here is the benchmark you should be doing if you're hiring any chatting agency. You should be seeing consistent 1 to 10 chat ratios. So this means, let's say, Sylvester, she has $3,000 in sub revenue. Times that by 10, she should be making $30,000 in message revenue, per month, and that should be an equal amount. You should always be doing or getting near and above to that 10x sub ratio to messages. If a chatting agency can't show any proof of that, then definitely don't work with them. Now, to make your life easier, you can work with us here at Covalent. We do on average 1 to 15 sub ratios, but only if you're a model who actually is generating a good amount of subs. Don't be afraid to hit us up, and agencies as well. Now, because the chatting topic is really, really complicated and really, really deep now, I would recommend just going to watch my YouTube video. I'm not going to talk about it too much on here because simply it just doesn't make sense to do that and waste your guys' time. Now, this is also going to be helping you guys to what to actually look for in an agency. I would do real results where they're literally screen recording, or it might be from a WhatsApp group chat with a model and they can get you to talk to the model, so you have direct results by actually seeing that the model has said, yes, this is my account, this is me, these are my earnings. You want to see legit results because there's a lot of fakers now. People share inflows, people share all that kind of stuff. That is just the truth. So you don't want to be getting, these fugazi results and getting scammed by a bad agency. And then next one, obviously, is a 1 to 10 chat ratio. No matter the agency, you should be getting that minimum, or else you're just going to be wasting so much money by not having the correct sales team, even if you've got the best marketing in the world. Now, I think the next thing is percentage. If an agency is trying to do like 60, 70, 80% what they're taking, definitely run for the hills, because they're probably just a scam and they're here for a quick money grab and not to actually scale you. Now, I also think 50% most of the time just doesn't make sense for a model unless she's pretty much fresh. You should be doing, 40% to most agencies. Now, I think the next one is no crazy lock-in periods where on the contract it says you can't leave for 6 months. That doesn't make sense. If you're trialing out with an agency, you want to see if they're the right fit for you. You should have 1 month where you can leave at any point, where you can, figure out, is this agency the right fit for me? And if not, you can go to the next and trial again. Now, I wouldn't recommend agency hopping because this is the fastest way to probably kill your account in 2026. So just be careful and make sure you're choosing correctly and taking your time when choosing as well, not just rushing into it. Now, I would say that pretty much sets you up on where to actually spend your time. Yes, I didn't go into detail on everything, but I just simply explained it all, the whole business model out on where to put your time and understand how to scale. There's no bullshit in this. That is all truth and all just honest, blunt truth, to be honest. It's not recycled advice from 3 years ago where people will be like, smash TikToks, do loads of expos. I would say focus Instagram, focus Reddit, get some money from there, and then learn how to scale your niches from there. Now, obviously, if you want the deep dives, like I've mentioned, where you see the real source, obviously go to my YouTube and learn from that, because each of these parts takes time and they take like 20 minutes per video. All right, I don't want to be here for 2 hours explaining the whole business model when you can just go to watch the other videos and learn yourself. Now, obviously, if you have any questions about this and have anything you want to do, then drop them down below. Any questions I will answer myself personally. And also, if you are interested in an agency and you're already making money, if you're interested in a chatting agency and you're an agency, message my Instagram, OFMCEO, and I will get a reply to you ASAP. Now, I appreciate you watching and see you next time. Peace.